Chigo and I'm here today with Zebralter Medical to show you how to make a simple face mask. With the coronavirus wreaking havoc in our lives, getting a face mask is not as easy as it used to be, but with these simple materials and my tutorial, it'll be very easy to make your own face mask at home. To begin, you'll need a sewing machine or a needle and thread, whichever you prefer, excess fabric, fusible interfacing, scissors, pins to hold your fabric in place, copper wire, which is optional, hair elastics or a ribbon, a ruler, pencil, and a piece of paper to draft a pattern. In order to make your face mask pattern, get a blank sheet of paper and cut out a piece that is 6 inches down by 9 inches across. At the top, make a line for your seam allowance that has 1/2 inch of width all the way across, and then across the sides, you want to make 9 solid and dashed lines for your pleats that have a width of 1/2 inch apart. And then across the bottom, make a line for your fold line that has a 1/2 inch of width all the way across and 2 arrows pointing down at the ends to represent that you cut this out on the fold of your fabric. So now that you have your piece of fabric all cut out, now you want to unfold it. Take your fusible interfacing and place it on, and cut out a piece of the interfacing that is the same size as your fabric. So now we need to iron the fusible interfacing to the wrong side of our fabric. Make sure that your iron is on the cotton setting or whatever the hottest setting is on your iron. Take the wrong side of your fabric and then take the bumpy side of your interfacing and put those sides together. Once you have them together, take your iron and press down. Continue pressing down on it until it's completely stuck to the fabric. If you take the corner and you can't pull the fabric apart from the interfacing, and that means it's completely fused to the fabric and you're ready. Now that the interfacing is fused to your fabric, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the excess fabric and interfacing. So now fold your fabric together, right sides together, and then take some pins and pin it about 2 inches from each side. So now we'll sew from the pin to the edge with a 1/2 seam allowance in between. Make sure to backstitch at both ends and leave an opening in the middle so we can turn it inside out later on. Now that you've sewed the tops of your fabric, take your elastic and make sure that it's 7 inches long in length. Then take one to each side and put it inside your fabric, but then have both ends out like this, and pin it at the top and the bottom. Make sure the elastic stays inside so that when we flip it inside out later on, you'll see it. With the elastic pinned at the top and the bottom of your fabric on both sides and safely tucked inside, now we'll sew along the sides of the fabric. Make sure to backstitch back and forth on the top and bottom of your elastic on both sides, and you can do the same with the needle and thread. Now that you've sewn the sides with the elastic inside and backstitch at both top and bottom, Now we're ready to turn it inside out and show the right side. Now that you've folded it inside out, it should look something like this. There's still an opening though, so we need to sew the top shut. Make a 1/2 inch seam allowance and just sew from about 2 inches from the inside, just enough to shut the opening. So now that you've sewn the tops shut, now take your wire and cut out a long piece of wire that is equivalent to the length of the top of your face mask. In order to make sure that the ends don't poke out or break through the fabric, make sure you curl it like a loop on both sides. Loops on both sides, take the wire and slip it through the opening in the top. Now that you have the wire in place on the top, it's time to do the pleats on both sides. Take the top of your fabric mask and fold it down about 1 inch. Repeat that step so that you have 3 pleats in place. Make sure it's lined up, pin it in place, and then sew down on both sides and make sure to backstitch at the beginning and end. And now that the pleats are sewn down, you have your very own homemade face mask. So here you have it, your very own homemade face mask. If you like this tutorial, then make sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe to Zebralter Medical for more success tips like these.